Welcome to a new national exams for students whose major is humanities. In this video, you will gain a full understanding of ways of correcting towards, let's say, this exam. In addition to that, we will explain all the three major parts of the exam, such as reading comprehension, language side, and writing tasks. So let's get started with reading comprehension. Peter is an American tourist who visited Morocco with four of his friends. This is the story of their trips. I first visited Morocco in 1999 with a couple of friends as a self-guided tourist. We bought plane tickets and went from place to place. We made daily decisions about where to go with help from guidebooks like Lonely Planner. Our primary goal was to encounter people and learn about their culture during our visit. We met nice people who enjoyed meeting foreigners, willing to spend time with them and know about their countries. In the town of Tiznit, we were sitting in a public area on a hot summer day when a young man named Hassan came and sat next to me. He began practicing his English with me. He had been enjoying a nice conversation for only about 15 minutes when he invited us to his house. We gratefully accepted and found ourselves among a typical Morocco family. We thought we would only be served a cup of tea and then leave for dinners in a restaurant. We ended up sharing a huge dinner and hours of friendly atmosphere with the family. Because my American friends and I were visiting Morocco for the first time, we were somehow astonished by the customs of eating in Morocco family. Unlike in American, eating with your hands is a time-honored tradition in Morocco. If you ever have a chance to visit this country, eat with your right hands using the thumb and the first two fingers. After the meal, our host said that we should not check in to the hotel and they insist on us sleeping at their home. Even after we refused multiple times, finally we accepted their kind offer. The five of us stayed the night sleeping in the main room of the house. This same scenario was repeated several times all over Morocco. In big cities like Marrakesh and Fez, as well as in small towns, we were always treated with great kindness and hospitality as our hosts offer us food and housing. Those offerings were usually so insistent that we gave in and were humbled to watch Moroccan families treat us like kings. While visiting Morocco as a tourist, I was looking for a change in my personal life, a new adventures. Following my first visit in 1999, I packed my baggage and returned to Morocco, thinking I would just study Arabic for a while. I finally stayed for 7 years, first working at a language school and later setting up and running my own business, working with foreigners who were doing business in Morocco. That's great. This is the first question of comprehension, and as I always said, try to base your answers on the text. The first one. Answer these questions. How did Peter travel on his first visit to Morocco? So for example, when we have the question that is started with how. So the answer is based on manners. So in what way he traveled or he came to Morocco, okay? So we will find in the text that it represents Peter and his friends by seeing that we bought plane tickets, okay? So the answer here must be like this. He traveled to Morocco by plane, alright? Where did Peter and his friends spend their first night in Tiznit? So the question here, it started with where, which expresses a place, alright? So that's why we say, where did Peter and his friends spend their first night in Tiznit? In the text, for example, we will find that, let's say, Peter and his friends spent their first night in Tiznit with families of Hassan, alright? Or Hassan's family. But this is not our questions. The question is where. We can transfer the idea, let's say, as the following statement. We say, they spent their first night at Hassan's house. Or some of you would say, and in the text we will find that willing to spend time with them. Okay? Some of the students would put they spent their time with Lehsen's family, and maybe the corrector will accept it as true, but the answer here, or the right answer, is where. But if some students put with Lehsen's family, it's considered as acceptable answer. Alright, let's move to the third question. What did Peter and his friend like about Moroccans? So the most surprising thing that we will find for a person that come to a particular countries is the diversity or cultural diversity. And the thing that is different from Peter's country or Peter's culture, and the thing that is different between Peter's cultures and Moroccans in general, is the habit of eating. Okay, for example, they may prefer to use fork and knife to cut, let's say, bread or anything, whereas Moroccans, they just use their hands. Alright, that's why Peter and his friends like this kind of eating habits. Alright, that's why in the text we will find like this: they were somehow astonished by their customs of eating, or they like their customs of eating. Okay, so astonished here means, let's say, like or surprising thing. Okay, where did Peter first work in Morocco? So they are asking for a place. Okay, that's why we are going to put a particular place that Peter worked when he came, let's say, for the second time, but the first job that he works was at a language school. Okay, that's why we say he worked at a language school. That's great. Are these sentences true or false? Justify. Peter and his friends visited Morocco with the help of tourist guides. So, what do you think for the first time when Peter and his friends came to Morocco? So, let's say, did they have a tourist guide or no? So, we have a key point that's going to change here, or to make the sentence as true or false, is this one. So, if it is true, we will find that they have a tourist guide. And if it is wrong, we will find it's false. Okay, and for sure it's false. Why? Because they by themselves were a self-guide with the help of map, or let's see, other peoples. Okay, so that's why we say false. Peter and his friends first visited Morocco in 1999 as a self-guided tourist. And as I said before, here is the first statement of this guide. Okay, so this is the opposite from the first one to the second. Okay, Lehsen invite Peter and his friends to have dinner at a local restaurant. That's good. So do you think that Peter's just invited them to a local restaurant? He took them to another place. So in the text you will find that Lehsen invited them to his personal house, or to his house. Okay, and for a local restaurant, of course, is false. Okay, keep this one into your mind. So we say false. He invited them to his house. Peter worked with Moroccan businessmen. Certainly yes. As soon as Peter starts business in Morocco, he is going to deal with Moroccan businessmen. Okay, of course, if he starts up, let's say, his business in Morocco, he's going to end up dealing with, let's say, Moroccan businessmen. Okay, but in the text it refers something else. That's why some of the students would put false, whereas the others true. I think both of them are right. Why? Let's talk about this following statement. Why? True and false. He is working with foreigners who were doing business in Morocco. So, for example, if you are going to talk, let's say, about foreign people who want to make a project in a particular place, you are going to make a communication, let's say, with people there. And if you have a business that is going to be organized in this particular place and addressing people who are foreigners, okay, as we have here. So we have foreigners. This is the first thing. And the person who write false, I accept it. Why? Because if we read about this sentence, it's explaining just foreign people, not Moroccan people. And as I said, it's true simply because we have a business in a particular place that needs to be engaged its people. In other words, we would say that Peter worked with Moroccan businessmen and let's say foreigners, not only Moroccan businessmen and not only a foreign businessman. All right. So I hope it's understood for you as a students, and I make sure for the people who correct their exams or the correct the students exam to take into consideration about the mistakes that is made, let's say by the people who give you a correction sheet. Okay, for example, the first thing you will notice is here. So in the paper sheet you will find they spend their first, let's say, night with Lesson's family. Here we are asking about the place, and the sheet is explaining with whom. So I insist on this idea. Please try to focus on the meaning behind, let's say, the student's answer before giving any mark. Okay? So Peter and his friends visited Morocco in order to. Here we have an expression of purpose. Alright? So in order to, so as to, or just simply to, it's expressing something about purpose. So the thing we are going to put here is verb or verb infinitive. The answer looks like this. So for example, if you have a purpose to go to a particular place, either to discover, let's say, some particular reasons why this place is very special, or to get engaged with, let's say, with the people of the particular place. And for Peter and his friends visited Morocco for these two reasons, just to encounter people and learn about their culture. This is a great point. When Peter returned to Morocco, his first plan was, I am going to help students to understand the first thing. So whenever we have here plan, aims, and we have the verb to be here, we are going to put to. Why? Because it's also expressing a purpose about particular things. So the verb to be plus to is expressing the purpose. So as a student, for example, to understand this text, what do you think about Peter when he returned back to Morocco for the second thing? So what he was thinking about, what is the thing that he insists to do in Morocco? So the first thing he insists is to set up his own business. And to set up a particular business, you are going to make a discussion and talk with people who don't speak somehow, let's say, English or a language that you speak. So in this sense, the main reasons that pushes you to do something is to get engaged. And to get engaged, it requires a language. So the same goes with Peter. He wants to learn a language that is spoken by a particular, let's say, people in Tisnet. And this language is Arabic. That's why we say he was, or his first plan was to study Arabic for a while. Okay? When eating with a Moroccan family, Peter advises you to. When we talk about the eating habits, you are going to talk about eating with right hands. Okay? That's wonderful. This is the next part of, let's say, comprehension, and it's considered as the last. Find in the text words which mean the same as. People from other countries, surprised, starting. So people from other countries, we consider them as people who don't, let's say, live in this particular country and are stranger for this country. So here people is a noun which is plural, okay? The thing that we are going to put here is, of course, a noun which is plural. Okay? So the answer must be like this. We say people from other countries are foreigners. Surprised. Here we have, let's say, an adjective which ends with ed. So the words that we are going to put here is, of course, let's say, it's like an adjective, and it represents the idea that is something beautiful, and you are wondering how beautiful is, or you like something, okay? So we say he is astonished with, let's say, or by the eating habits of Moroccans. Starting. Here we have verb plus ing. And in the paragraph 4, you will find two words, either sitting up or running. Running is to work for a particular country. For example, I am running a project in a particular place. And to start something is to sit up, alright? That's why we say it's sitting up. What do the underlined words in the text refer to? He, us. He in the paragraph 2 talks about Lihsan and how he treats his guests in a gentle way. So we say it's Lihsan. Us presents Peter and his friends. Okay? That's great. So this is the language side. Fill in the blanks with the correct words from the list. Solar, political, issues, initiative, popular, sharing, living, technology. Young people should take the for a better future. We are all concerned about environmental. We should take pollution and global warming seriously. Gaming has become the most pastime activity for young people nowadays. Local associations are doing a lot of work to improve the condition of the community. As I said before, let's talk about the thing that exists here. So when we talk about solar, it's let's say something that comes from the sun, and we consider this one as an adjective, all right? Political is of course adjective. Issues is a noun which is plural. Initiative is a noun, okay? Popular, of course, adjective. Sharing, it's verb plus ing. Living, of course, it's verb plus ing, but we consider them as an adjective in this sense, okay? Technology is a noun. So the first thing we will need here, a noun. This is also a noun. For this one, it's an adjective, whereas the last, it's adjective. And if we talk about something that is related to take a part in a particular things, or to be the first who wants to make something better, and we call in this sense initiative. Young people should take the initiative for a better future. We are all concerned about the environmental. We should take pollution and global warming seriously. So noun here, it should be let's say subjects or the talk that is related to environment. And the thing that we are talking about here, let's say issues, environmental issues. Gaming has become the most, this is an easy, it's a famous thing. Gaming has become the most popular pastime activity for young people nowadays. Local associations are doing a lot of work to improve that. Here we have a noun, and as I said before, we are going to put an adjective. And we have two things that is left as an adjective, whereas political has nothing to do with it, but sharing and living. When we talk about the conditions of life of particular communities, we will find they are misery, and there are some associations who help them to overcome this kind of hardship in their life. And we say to improve the living conditions of their community. Put the words in bracket in the correct form. Building more schools in rural areas will contribute to the empower of women. Social media may have harm effect on kids. Empower here is a verb, and you are going to put it here as a noun. So we have of and we have th. So for this one we have an article and a noun. So we are going to put harm into an adjective. That's great. So the first one, empower, we are going to add here suffix, which is meant. In this sense we say empowerment, whereas the second we are going to add full. And we say social media may have a harmful effect on our kids. That's great. Rewrite the following sentences as indicated. Could you please give more information about the project? Asked the journalist. The journalist asked the ministry. For the first thing here you are going to notice is the quotation marks, which is referring to, let's say, report speech in baccalaureate grammar. So here we have asked. In this sense, we have, let's say, a mini possibility. Either to put journalists ask the ministry to give more information about the project, just to put verb infinitive, or to put for more information. Okay, all of them are correct. But the most common thing that you have studied in the baccalaureate as a question statement is going to be like this. And if you have could, it's related to a question which is yes or no question. And in this context, we say journalist asked the ministry if he could give more information about the project. Okay, this school offers students interesting activity. Students here is plural. Okay, keep these things into your mind. And we have offers. So the S written here, so if we are going to put the verb to be, in the rule of passive voice we are going to put verb to be plus verb plus past participle. And if we have students, let's say with S, which refers to the plural noun, we are going to put the verb to be into a plural verb which is are. So we see students are offered interesting activities by school or by this school. So it's options if you don't write by school, but I do prefer to write it just to make the sentence clear. Fred received the invitation, yet he didn't attend the party. In spite of, as I said in the previous exams, you are going to put in spite of or despite plus verb, ing or noun or the fact that. So you are going to use the easy thing for your, let's say, understanding and your language skills. And I do prefer to use verb plus ing, okay, from my point of view. And if you use the fact that, it's also easy. So we say receiving. In other words, in spite of receiving the invitation, Fred didn't attend the party. Or in spite of the fact that Fred received the invitation, he didn't attend the party. Okay? Put the verbs in brackets in the correct tense. I was late for the music concerts because I not take the first bus. Monsif slowly graduate. So let's discuss the first one. I was too late for the music concert because. Here, when we talk about the first action that is stopped for the first time, for example, if you made a mistake and you try to apologize for it, you say, sorry, I didn't put much attention while I'm doing these activities. The thing goes with the first sentence. We say, I was too late for the music concert because I didn't take the first bus. Monsif Slawi from the Free University of Brussels in 1983 before he joined Harvard Medical Schools. Here we have ed, okay, so because let's say the screen didn't catch the ed, so I recommend there is ed here, and we have here before. So now it's clear for you to understand this sentence. As I said, it's ed, okay, so we have here before. So the first action that is going to start is this one. Monsif Slawi had graduated from the Free University of Brussels in 1983 before he joined Harvard Medical School. That's great. This is the last part of language side. And in this sense, we have the first questions. Choose the correct answer. A tablet will be given to the student wins the competition. Alright? So here we end up with students, and it's an expression of person. Okay, so that means the third part we deleted. So we have two. What do you think that is suitable here from going back to the first exams and other mock exams? What do you think about the explanation that I said before? So for example, if we have whom we should have subject. This is just a simple explanation. This is not a rule. Okay, as a subject. And who, we should have verb. But in some cases, we don't have this kind of explanation. But as a baccalaureate student, keep these things into your mind. So whenever we have a student and whom, we put a subject. Here we have a verb. That means we are going to put the second expression. We say, a tablet will be given to the students who wins the competition. I'm not really sure about the place of our meeting tomorrow. It in the same conference room. So for example, if you have an expression like this, I am not really sure, which refer to something or a possibility that may happen, and to be not sure enough in a particular context we see might be. Okay, whereas must, it refers to something that or deduction that is based on facts. Okay, and I'm going to delete this one. For example, you are making a regret. When we say it had been in the same conference room, that means you may have met him or not, and you regret about particular conditions. But this is about something in the future. So the answer that is left here is might be. Okay, we say it might be in the same conference room. Complete the following exchanges appropriately. Tony, can you please drive me to the airport? Jane declined Tony's request. Sue, why didn't you come to my birthday party last weekend? Nancy, apologize and give reason. Here the first one, decline Tony's requests. Declining here refers to refusing, to refuse something and not accept it. Okay, so you are going to say, sorry, I can't because, or sorry, I can't, I am busy right now. If you just write, sorry, I can't, it's enough. And if you write the following sentence, it must be better, alright? So, why didn't you come to my birthday party last weekend? Apologize and give a reason. Here you have two things. So, the first one, you have apologize. The second is give reasons. Alright? So, for example, I'm going to apologize. I would say, I beg your pardon because I had an exam. Or I am sorry because I had an exam and I can't attend. Alright? That's wonderful. Choose the most appropriate response to each statement. Rec. I'm sorry to say this, but the mobile phone I bought here yesterday has poor sound quality. Shop assistance. Here is a talk about a person whose name is Rick. And the person who is going to talk about this one is going to make an explanation based on the first one, which is a complaint about bad quality of the sound that exists in this mobile phone. Alright? So the answer here must be an apologize, because the first one, okay, that's good. This is complaining. I would love to. Here is you are offering someone to do something. For example, you would say, can we go to cinema? We say, yes, I would love to. Here, when you want to give someone and he wants to decline a request or an offer, you say, do you want to use mobile phone? He would say, no, thanks. Okay, so the last one, which is expressing apologize, is sorry for that. Okay? Fred, what do you think I should study when I go to the university next year? That's a good idea. Sorry, I have no idea. Congratulations. Sorry to hear that. So, congratulations is expressing good news. Sorry, I have no idea. We are going to talk about something. Alright? That's good idea. It's kind of good news. Okay? So, sorry, I have no idea. It's, for example, when you are asked to, let's say, to give an opinion about something. Okay? And when you don't have any particular idea, somehow you don't know the answers, you would say, sorry, I have no idea. Okay? This is the writing task. Complete the following paragraph about where you would go on school excursion. On a school excursion, you may choose a particular place for an educational reason, alright? But for you as a student, it's not important to describe a particular place, and the reason should be, let's say, an educational one. But I recommend to choose a particular place and tell us what is important beyond choosing these things. And tell us what is the importance of choosing these things, okay? So I'm going to choose Merzouga. So on a school excursion, I would like to go to Merzouga. This place is worth visiting for the following reasons. So you'll find many things about Merzouga, but I choose just the three important things, which is going to be like this. First, the Sahara Desert is the main reason why I need to go there. That is, we will enjoy a trip full of adventures in discovering the secrets of Morocco desert, such as having oases in the middle of Sahara. It is also a good spot to see a wonderful sunset and the sun rays. Second, it consists of a beautiful, cheap hotels and riads in which I can enjoy the comfortable equipment in terms of rooms and shower and so on. Moreover, you can take a ride on the back of the camel towards the sandy mountains. Third, people there are hospitable and friendly. They can welcome us although they don't know us. Furthermore, there are many foreigners who I can meet and share our cultural diversity in an acceptable way. To sum up, before going to a particular place, we need to set up the reasons and the purpose why we need or why we should visit this place. So the three reasons I choose about this particular topic is the desert, which is considered as the, let's say, great sport or a good sport to see the sun rays and sunset. Okay, and I include the enjoyment that we are going to get from this trip, right? For the second is the beautiful hotels and riads, which has a good comfortable quality. For example, when you can sleep like rooms and take a shower. Last but certainly not least, you will take some services that is provided by this hotel, like taking a ride, let's say, on the back of the camel towards mountains. And last is the people who are going to be there should be friendly and hospitable. Okay, that is a wonderful things to choose about particular things. Some of you would choose, let's say, other cities which is consist of an educational or an historical backgrounds which going to help us as a students. I prefer this kind of talk. Okay, so you are going to choose the thing that is has a reasonable purpose. This is what I'm focusing on writing this first task. Okay, so the second task, write an article to be published in your school magazine about talented or gifted person. In Morocco recently we have many talented people. Okay, but I focus my interest on just a little kid who inspires us and who shows us that to be a talent has nothing to do with school and age. Okay, that's why I start the first statement of this topic is to be talented does not require a certain age or a certain kind of education. This idea is proved by many talented people from all over the world, such as Steve Jobs, Jack Ma, and so on. In Morocco, many people heard about a 12-year-old boy named Idar Moter, but there are many things which we don't know about him. This is just, let's say, an introductory paragraph of this article. I'm going to go further to the body and explain each part by each part, okay? So, firstly, Idar Moter is just a student whose passion is programming and coding. He is a self-learner in terms of ICT and languages. That is, he can speak English fluently, which makes him recognizable by the entire world. Secondly, He knows different programming languages which helped him to create games, websites, and so on. In addition to that, he has participated in different workshops of coding in Britain as well as German. He also represented Morocco at US robotic competition. Therefore, he is now learning to speak German. Moreover, both Google and different technological companies are clearly impressed with his skills and talents. To sum up, genius and intelligence don't always relate to age or school, but it comes from within the person himself or herself, as Idar has shown to the world. That's great. I'm going to give you here the structure of the articles. The first thing here we start with a general statement. Okay? For example, you are going to start from a general idea to go particular to the specific one of the articles, which is describing a talented or gifted person. That's why we move on to the context of Morocco as Idar Moter, which is this person, alright, who I really admire because of his age and talents, alright. The second part is discussing how that person is just say a student and loves to do things like programming and coding, which helps him to learn, let's say, ICT and languages. For example, when you learn or when you do something that requires English language, you push yourself to learn this language. Okay? Secondly, he knows different programming languages which helped him to create. This is another paragraph which represent what is he talented about. Okay? And all the ideas are discussed here. We will find that this is person, it's Idar Moter, what he does or she do. For example, he is a student. What are his talents or her talents? We will find he speak languages. He good at programming languages, which let's say has shown the world that he's a good boy. All right, and now he pushes himself to learn to speak German. And for that person, he just a self-learner. And we will end up with the second paragraph or the second body paragraph, how a great company like Google and different technological companies are very impressed with his talents, all right? And this is a conclusion which is somehow a paraphrase to the first idea that is discussed in the intro. Okay, I hope that clear, and this kind of a paragraph helps you to understand how well enough to write through these structures, which is combining different ideas about the person that we are describing and describing his talents. Okay, good. This is the end of our national exam, and at this stage I would love to talk about an important things that comes from my students is to correct the exam in Arabic way. I do not prefer to use this way simply because it's gonna makes you weak in terms of English language, alright? And the message that is coming from, let's say, Idar Moter, that we have talking about him, a talented person, let's say he learns language programming by, let's say, with the help of English. So for example, if you are students and you want to get a good mark, try to learn a language by itself, not to use another source. For example, if you depend yourself on a particular language to get corrected, or let's say most of students and people are supporting the idea that the good way is understanding. I agree with you. Try to understand English with English and within English. Thank you so much, and I hope you all the best.